Hello, Di here. Welcome to the devlog from May to August of 2022. Now, I'm sorry for the delay in getting this video out. Act 1 Mission 4 proved to be just a little more challenging than I anticipated. So, I'll start with a quick TLDR of the big ticket items for those who want a whistle-stop catch-up, and then cover each area in more detail. Act 1 Mission 4 is complete. It's a missing persons investigation which has 2 or 3 combat encounters and substantially develops the story. 4 new maps have been added to the game. One of them you're seeing now. And all the maps in the game, with the exception of one, have been optimised. The world map has been added, along with code to allow movement between areas. I've improved 40 or so character portraits which are currently in the game. I've improved the existing item illustrations also, and added around 30 new ones. And in terms of scheduling, I'm shooting for the Steam Demo Festival in Q1 of 2023 with a hope to release on early access in Q1 or Q2 of that year. So moving into a little more detail. Participating in the Steam Next Festival will help build awareness for Prometheus Wept to support the following early access launch. Now, I had planned to participate this October, but I'm going to defer until February to allow for more development time, and so that the Steam event is closer to the early access release of the game. As soon as I have an updated demo ready, I'll release it to you so you can try it out. This will be obviously before the Steam Demo Festival, and hopefully you can give me some feedback which I can integrate for the festival itself. Obviously, things are going more slowly than I would like. Now, part of this is down to underestimating the amount of work, and part of this is down to willfully taking a more difficult route in the hopes of making a better game. Development it's been pretty difficult for the past couple of weeks, but, hopefully it's going to be worth it. So, it's not going to be possible to take the most difficult route in every occasion, but here I think it was worthwhile, and it was effectively the question of doing something generic, like a fetch or kill quest against, generic enemies, or, trying something more interesting. So, what happens in Act 1 Mission 4? It's a missing persons investigation where you're charged to locate a member of Sunny Pines Council. Now, the investigation part of it involves going to a number of locations, searching for clues, and trying to narrow down the area in the world map where you have to search. So you'll visit the printing press in Sunny Pines, you'll visit the home of Dr. Chrysler in Sunny Pines, and you'll basically look for clues in those locations to try and figure out what happened to him. At that point, you'll get a number of attempts to search the world map, Now, this is one of the encounters which will happen later on as you're searching the world map. These are the firemen, they're one of the 2 new gangs, and I will just... I'll just load up somewhere where I can show you the world map, and let's see. Okay, so this is another one of this is where you encounter the Blue Screen of Death tribe, another gang. It's set at a tech store where one of the trees growing in the store has over time shot out through the plate window on the top. So this is the world map for Act 1, or it's at least a provisional implementation of it. Now, not all the locations are in there at the moment, but what you've got here in terms of the searching is you've got a number of sites. Anything that's red is a site that's been searched or eliminated through a clue that you have found. So you get a set number of attempts to find Dr. Chrysler. And if you manage to find them, it will, or if you don't, it'll significantly change how the game plays out later on. So the code's in place as well to move between various world locations and locations within those world locations. So moving on to the gangs. The gangs in the game were developed as a result of bizarre misunderstandings about the pre-virus world, which is something I'm going to come back to multiple times over the course of the game. So the purpose from the point of view of actually adding to the game was I kind of felt like there was an over-reliance on sort of wolves and generic angry guys in leather as early game enemies. So I wanted to change up some of those encounters. Obviously it cost time, but I think hopefully it will be worthwhile. And see, I'll just load something else up. And eventually you'll either find or you won't find Dr. Chrysler. And in doing this, you'll encounter an unusual entity who, depending on what you choose, will either become a party member or the primary antagonist of Act 1. So there's quite a lot of work in this act. Obviously there was multiple maps. There was an awful lot of scripting. There's definitely more dialogue than most of the other ones. So all those things taken together, they just made it slower to progress. Now, moving on to some other areas that I worked on in the meantime. I mentioned character portraits. So that's the old one, and this is the new one. So I can go through a couple of these examples and show you. That's the old one. That's the newer one. And here again. So I've done around 40 of these. So that's every character that's basically in the game at the moment. And here are a couple of the old ones that new ones that I've no old one to compare with at the moment. So about 40 of them. I've also worked on item illustrations. So all of the old ones have been improved, and I've also added around 20 new ones. And you can see in some cases there are complete weapons here, and there are also parts. This is because each weapon or each firearm will require multiple parts to create. And I'll show you the last of these. So I've obviously worked as well on which items will become available at which parts of the game, and to some extent how they will function. So moving on to what's going to happen next, there's really two things that I need to do. I need to finish the work on the demo. So that will include balance, placement of loot. It will include the addition of perks, items, crafting recipes. Now I also need to change the shopkeeper code because there was only one shopkeeper in Vigilantes. There's going to be multiple in Prometheus Wept. So this is going to require some changes to the code to support multiple shopkeepers. I'd also expect to do some work on pushing the game towards early access. So this will mean like completing Act 1 Mission 5, also completing the system infiltration encounter, which you would have seen if you would have played the system infiltration part of the demo. So it basically ends up where you get into the bunker, but you don't really know what happens. That's possibly another area where I'd like to invest a little more time, because it's going to be the sort of primary cyberspace encounter of Act 1. So I think that's probably another area that's going to be worth a little extra effort. So I will check back in, let's say around the end of September, and let you know how things are going. But thank you for tuning in today, and I hope you have a good day.